Right, here we are, look. Robin's back. It's Nocked, True Tales of Robin Hood. Let's see what this one's all about. I don't really know what this one is, but we'll see, won't we? I think it's like a kind of choose your own adventure story kind of thing. Right. King Richard the Lionheart is gone to the Crusades, along with England's able-bodied men, and has left the kingdom in the hands of his brother, the wicked Prince John. Meanwhile, the prince's ambitious crony, the Sheriff of Nottingham, terrorizes the countryside. As you strive against the evil sheriff, every choice will change your fate, but fate can be fickle or forgiving. Just how much so depends on you. Welcome to Nocked. Click on the darkened text of one of the difficulty levels to get started. Okay. Story mode. Yes, gold challenge for sure is lightly guarded. Normal. Challenging. Impossible. You begin with nothing. May God have mercy on your soul. Okay, story mode. That'll do for me. England, 1192. A quiet spring evening. Bring me the Locksley brat. The sheriff's bellow echoes through the walls of your home. The one named Robin, the rest are yours. Hobnailed boots shake the walls on all sides as soldiers fill the house. You need to get out of here. You don't have much time. The game solves automatically with every choice you make. You'll never lose your place. These tutorials gain useful information that can also help find in the help screen, which changes itself based on the circumstances. They can be turned off from the help screen. Okay. Okay, I sneak out through the back entrance, through the kitchen. I leap from the window and race for the stables. The guards don't know me. I throw a cloak around my shoulders and blend in with the household staff. I'm gonna go for the window. You reach for the stables. The smell of hay, the soft wick of horses, and the sharp tines of several pitchforks wielded by scared groomsmen greets your arrival. Robin! One of the groomsmen nearly collapses from fright. What's going on at the house? We heard shouting, saw the soldiers. You've gained renown, a measure of your deeds and accomplishments. Both nobles and peasants respect a legend, and you can call on your renown to convince them to action. Sheriff is after me. I saddle a chestnut stallion. It'd be better for if I get out of here. The sheriff's been flooding the house. I've gone back to scrub, but you can't follow me. Let's take back home. Sheriff is unlawfully seized to go home quickly with the chapel. The sheriff will not violate the sanctity of the church. He will. Okay, we better get out of here. Take care of him, Robin. One of the stable hands glances nervously at the house. His name is Holiday. Bursts from the stables and ride hard across the fields. Halfway across the field, Holiday snorts and rears. You hear a moment later a bang that resonates deep in your chest. One of the sheriff's own hounds is on your trail. I send Holiday in one direction, running the other. The horse will distract the hound. I ride hard, risk dangerous footing in the darkness, and hope to outpace the hound. I turn to face the hound. It's only one after all. Let's run. Holiday needs no urging, and you thunder through the night. The baying grows distant and stops. Now to make good you. Thrown from the saddle as Holiday stumbles, rolls when your stars clear from your eyes. Holiday is peacefully cropping grass nearby, though his saddlebags, apparently full of coin, have spilled over the ground. You've gained some gold. As the currency of the realm, gold can be exchanged for goods and services. Gold is also the measure of any raw resources you have at your disposal. Spend it wisely. Gather what you can, remount, and set out into the night. Once beyond the fields, you pause to let Holiday catch his breath. Sky is smoke black at your back, shot red with devouring flames that fall upon the only home you've ever known. The night passes. The next day dawns, cool and clear, though smoke from the smouldering ruins of your home still blackens the distant horizon. You have a bounty on your head, doubtless, and it will only grow should you continue to evade capture. Meanwhile, pursuit will likely come, likely in the form of Baskervilles, the sheriff's special hounds bred the size of a horse. For now, you have your other concerns. You need food, weapons, and shelter. Your horse, Holiday, crops the grass nearby. The horizon calls, cold and clear. I need to find food, I need weapons. Sherwood beckons the dark safety of its trees fretted with danger and mystery. Let's go for food. Your eyes travel over the rolling hills, track signs of isolated farmsteads. The year is still young, but there is bounty to be had if you know where to look. The new green crowns of Sherwood Forest rise not half a league off the King's Forest, full of deer and other game. I forage for food among the nearby hills. Spends several hours gathering nuts, berries, and edible ferns from among the nearby hills. When you finish, you have enough food to last several days. Your eyes track across the landscape, watching for signs of the sheriff's men. There, a flash of white against the cerulean sky. A horse with a sparkling horn that rises from its forehead grazes on a nearby top. A unicorn. Okay. The unicorn's nostrils flare, catch your scent. It fixes you with a gimlet eye just beyond arm's reach. Are you a virgin? The beast speaks soft, feminine, and clear in the king's English. I mean, hope you're saving yourself for true love. The unicorn angles its horn towards your heart. Perhaps we shall meet again. Okay, that went well. The unicorn rears up its hind legs and vanishes twixt the passing of a cloud. No sign is left on the return of the sun. You shake your head. You've been granted a measure of grace. When you find yourself down and out and need extra help, you might have the opportunity to choose a grace option. But there are sometimes alternate solutions to a situation. Grace options will always help you out of your current situation in the best possible way. Be warned, grace can be used once and will not return before the turning of the seasons. I need weapons. Let's have a look. You consider again the cold hard fact that the sheriff's men and beasts will soon be after you. You need a sword and bow to defend yourself. There's a friendly smithy nearby. Meet the young smith, Brown Adam. The fort I saw smoke this morning. It's bad business what the sheriff does, but I'd rather not get caught up in it. I have both bow and sword, but they will cost you. Spend your resources. Okay. I'll pay for it. The smithy with a sharp, sturdy sword, a dagger, and a fine yew bow. A warning, a white hart burst from the trees, fired swiftly by a large grey wolf. A deer could be mine if I came with a bow. Nature's beautiful, fascinating. I paused to watch the kill. The hart turns at the last moment and flips the wolf up and over its antlers. The wolf lands heavy, and the hart, high tide, prances back to the forest. Well, you imagine the wolf's sarcastic voice as it slowly levers itself to its feet. That was embarrassing. How about we keep this little incident between the two of us? He limps back into the forest. Sherwood beckons, the dark safety of its trees fretted with danger and mystery. Haunted or not, Sherwood will offer you safety from the sheriff, if it doesn't kill you by any other means. Given time, you may find means to strike back against the sheriff for what he has done. You move deep into the forest, fighting bramble and thorn, when there comes a dreadful baying on the wind. The sheriff has released his hounds, and they are nearly upon you. Holiday throws you from his back and bolts. You stumble, stagger, and push your way through the underbrush, fetch up against the bole of a large tree. Your heart is pounding, your breath comes ragged in your lungs. Your clothes are tattered and torn from the thickets and brambles, yet still the baying of hounds is at your heels. You've made it to Sherwood Forest, the King's Forest, no man's expanse of untamed wilderness beyond Nottingham, yet still the sheriff's hounds rush to bring you to ground. Baskerville hounds as large as a horse. You can always reload the game back to the last checkpoint. Okay. The tree on my back is surrounded by a ring of mushrooms. A fairy ring is said to be a border the hounds will not cross. Here, river by crossing, the hounds will leave by scent. Okay, try that. Hounds break through the wood with the sound of a thunderstorm, huge, slavering black as coal. The three beasts fan out to cut off any escape. On the invisible wall, they circle the border of the ring, stamping and snarling, spraying saliva all over you. The whistles may stop their teeth, but it's not stop their spittle. A wolf crashes into the hounds, drives it into the magical barrier, and it's turned thrown through to land at your feet. You meet the wolf's golden eyes, the same wolf who crossed your path on the road. I swear he winks as if to say, watch this. The mushrooms pulse and glow, set off a spray of phosphorescent pores. The hounds sneeze and sneeze again. One of them whines, and then as a pack they vanish into the woods. You hear their rough sneezes fade in the distance. The wolf steps back through the ring, stretches his front paws, and is gone. Well, that was a thing. If the hound's gone, you have a chance to look around. This is deeper in the forest than you've ever been, but someone else was here first, and not so long ago. A scrap of cloth from a noblewoman's veil. Tracks in the forest look like it does a man. A book. Step through the wood, carefully tracking a scrap of cloth, button here, run straight into a young woman, your heads collide. Goodness, a noble woman sits on the ground opposite you, rubbing her head. A basket of raspberries is overturned at her side. I'm so very sorry. A pair of ladies in waiting scurry around the raspberry bushes. My lady, are you all right? Quickly, come away from this hooded ruffian. Nonsense, the noble woman rises, brushes down her skirt and tucks a strand of dark hair behind her ear. We were both out gathering dinner, and we forest travellers must stick together. It takes a peculiar type of person to brave Sherwood Forest. She regards you curiously and offers a hand. I am Maid Marian of Woodbridge. Sheriff of Nottingham imprisoned my father, seized my family's lands, and announced his intention to marry me, by force. I and my ladies in waiting fled into the forest to avoid capture. Now if I were to hazard a guess, and I am an excellent judge of character, I would say you are that yeoman who owns the Locksley farm. We should be honest with, Marian, I guess? Well, we've been nearly neighbours our entire lives. I'm simply embarrassed we've never met in person. Marian looks away and bites her lip. There wasn't much hope that the sheriff would limit himself to terrorising recalcitrant nobility, was there? I've never much associated with freemen, but at least someone here knows their way around the woods. You've just gained power. Power is often gained through selfless or heroic actions, but through the steady struggle against the sheriff. Power can eventually be used to start special projects, gain favour with the factions beyond Sherwood and influence the larger world beyond Sherwood Forest. There's quite a lot in this game, isn't there? I have to say, she appraises you back, your pack. You're comfortably supplied for an extended stay in the forest. I'm impressed. Come on, camp is nearby and it's getting late. There's something else you should know. I learned my head and shag my hair. I'm a woman. Man to woman, there are protocols to be observed. I fall in beside her and offer her my arm. Oh, so I can choose to be a man or a woman. Interesting. Thank you, Robin. Marian takes her arm. It's been a while since I've had a proper escort. Rosalind and Matilda prepare dinner. That night, Marian joins you around the campfire with a small plate of berries and roast mushrooms. We've been wandering these woods for days without success. I'll admit, I'd have given up hope of meeting anyone, but we met you as the first bit of luck I've had in some time. Were you looking for someone in these woods? Indeed, Marian nods to herself. I'd high hopes of encountering Sir Will Scarlet. As the King's Warden, he watches over the forest from a fortified tower in the Deepwood, with dozens of highly trained men at his command. Trusted and respected throughout the land, he could face down the sheriff and his lackeys. Sounds like a real hero. I've heard stories about him since I was a child. Why is the sheriff determined to marry you? My family is an old one with extensive lands and titles. Without marriage, the sheriff could legitimise his claim of nobility, and even aspire to the throne were Prince John to be inconvenienced. Does Prince John know the sheriff's plans? I doubt it. The sheriff will be a faithful lackey until he has me in his arms, which I've determined shall never happen. She fingers a small dagger at her belt. Peace, Marian. So long as I live, you will not be married against your will. I'd like to hope so. Can you tell me about the court? I've only heard stories of all those high lords. Marian brightens. It'd be my pleasure. She launches into stories of her days in Richard's court. While there are enormous feasts and fancy dresses, what she focuses most upon is the ceaseless gossip and backbiting between the nobles. You don't doubt that Marian's political skills are razor sharp. The forest defense, political influence, magical discoveries, and legendary momentum all have effect on the men and renown you gain with the turning of the seasons, as well as your ability to raid the sheriff's tax caravans. They're long-term investments in the future of your struggle. Okay. A wolf howls nearby and one of the ladies in waiting shrieks. Rosalind, Marian says, sit by the fire. What's troubling you? My lady, it's just that we came here to find Warden Will Scarlet, but no one's seen him in years. I'm starting to think he no longer exists. You have a point, Marian concedes, but what of it? Forget this mythical warden, we can work against the sheriff ourselves. The forest is vast, don't give up hope, we'll find him yet. We'll find him. Can't keep wandering aimlessly. With all that the sheriff has done, with everything he continues to do, it needs to stop before more people are hurt. Stop the sheriff's men, show the people that someone out there cares, the people will follow. There are mercenaries out there, warriors displaced by the Crusades. With them, you have an army in no time. Rob from the rich, give to the poor. The people will love us when we return what's been taken from them. Live with the nobles, they don't like the sheriff any more than we do. They can quickly raise an army if they've done something to rally around. But rob from the rich and give to the poor is Robin Hood all the way around. We gotta do it properly. So it boils down to money. With money, we can become famous or powerful. Marion's silent for a time. I have a little gem sewn into my skirts. It's a start. Marion takes a few steps and pauses at the edge of the firelight. Glad we ran into each other. So much more capable in these woods than us. Suffice to say, I've informed Matilda and Rosalind that they are to obey you without hesitation while travelling the forest. I trust you to keep us safe. I'll do my best. That's all I ask. Marion walks into the night. Good night, Robin. You have a noble lady and her maids in tow. What could go wrong? If you have to say it. You wake to a flurry of activity. Marion's bustling about the camp, packing up a few possessions and stamping out the fire. I was up early, couldn't sleep. She says by way of explanation. Went for a walk, and who did I spot? Lose renown. Different maybe spend a loose guard. Okay, so that sets out our character. Did I spot a guy of Gisborne? She crouches down to look him in the eye. The sheriff's cousin and master of the hounds himself camped right over that ridge. The baying of hounds echoes through the forest. The Baskervilles are on the move. But not towards us. They are hunting something else. It seems an opportunity to strike against Guy. That's very true. We can hunt the hounds in turn. I want to turn the tables on the hounds. I like it, but ranging far and fast will be the best part of the day just getting back here, much less forging deeper into Sherwood. If Guy is here, and the sheriff and his huntsmen are likely not far behind. Also, the ladies in red get terrified of those hounds. Better off sending them away. Struggling. Even if I had a head start, we can lose the trackers in the forest. Don't catch up before dawn. Guy's camped at the shelter of a large log. He have a perfect view of his red doublet and trimmed goatee as he hunches over his campfire, brewing tea in the chilled out morning. Attack, sneak in, or talk. Let's attack. Gobbs caught some movement from the corner of his eye. He throws himself to the side, and your arrow sinks to the dirt. Have had these upon you with astounding speed. His blade rings against yours like the tolling of Sunday bells, and he kicks out, knocking you to the ground. You kick back, sending hot tea into his face. Suddenly, Guy lets his sword drop from his hands. Reddy is behind him, and dagger across his neck. Marion, lovely to see you again. Locksley, what a pair you make. What shall we do with him, Robin? Marion asks, turning her grip. Guy Gisborne led the sack of my home. She looks upon him with barely conceited disgust. He surrendered, however, and by the rules of chivalry, we must release him. As we go naked, his rings will come to us for our trouble. There you go, word of his feet at our hands will inspire among the people. You've gone naked and miserable in the middle of the forest, his jewelry weighing down your pockets. God will take this insult to heart, Marion counsels. Like a dog with a bone, he'll hold this grudge until he can bury us in the ground. Once he finds some pants. Marion forges through the forest. The skirts are around her knee, and her maid Matilda fluttering after her, clucking disapprovingly. Finally, she stops beneath a spreading oak. This will do, she declares. We can camp here. Time to figure out our next move before the sheriff sets more men on our trail. You're in camp. Okay. Spreads out a small map and several pieces of paper and begins making noises. Aaron looks forward. We've escaped the sheriff's men. This is our chance to set the seeds of resistance. For that, we need to stop running. She taps her map. Vast emptiness, simply labelled Sherwood. This is the deep woods, said to be home to fairies and boggarts, dragons and trolls. Whatever the truth, the sheriff's men don't dare set foot in there. We can establish a base, we'll be safe, at least for a while. There are three things we need to accomplish to make that a reality. We need a fast, defensible way in and out of the Deepwood. We need to make contact with the King's Warden. And we need to clear competing bandits from the area. Once certain Where to start? There's a good way in and out. Between Nottingham's trade routes and the Deepwood is a river here. She sketches on the map for it to disrupt the sheriff's activities, stop his tax collectors and the like. We can't afford to always take the long way around. I've heard there's a crossing here, she makes a hatch mark, but it's supposedly guarded by a delegate of the crown. If we can secure that crossing for ourselves, perhaps convince this guardian to join us, maybe it's Little John. We can use it to be in and out of the Nottingham area before the sheriff knows we're there. I don't know, a good path from within the Deepwood will be better off approaching from the outer forest, though we'll likely run afoul of the sheriff's patrols. If we can do to throw them off our trail will be helpful. Tell me about the King's Warden. Scarlet family have been wardens of the Deepwood for generations. The latest scion, William, has been seen outside the forest since Richard left the Crusades. An alliance would be ideal, but at the very least we need his permission to operate in the Deepwood. We can't fight him and the sheriff at the same time. She brushes her hair. I'd advise when you're ready to be your charming best, we should try to confront him. Okay, let's secure this crossing. Robin, Mary's the younger with the long strong dress. I'm Rosalind, by the way. I wanted to make sure we were properly introduced. She looks like she's about to say more when Matilda, the other maid, calls out, "We'll talk later," she promises and runs off. Right. The sheriff's men pick up your trail as they came around the edge of the forest. Their number at least a dozen, not including hounds and horses, armour and weapons of cold hard steel. Ahead stands the mist-shrouded Deepwood, where 400-foot-tall trees block the light of day. Giants grind the bones of Englishmen to make their bread. Fear of their lives? The sheriff's men will not venture here. You have a limited amount of time to get into the Deepwood ahead of the sheriff's force. If nothing changes, the sheriff will catch you just after sunset. Right. Between you and this dubious safety lies a cold, fast river, a down tree that serves as a bridge, and the bear of a man who calls himself Little John. Of course. Say man, let us pass. Until you pay the toll, Little John brooks up half across the river. 5,000 gold. Crossing one way or another. Little John raises an eyebrow and lifts the quarterstaff in his hands. You and what army? Marion glances at the sun. This area is large, Robin. Just about everything takes time. We need to be careful the sheriff doesn't catch us. For less than 5,000 gold against the wishes of the king himself. Prince John and the sheriff see enemies in Richard's legacy. You were appointed to this post by the king. That simple fact condemns you in their eyes. Keep talking, Little John grips his quarterstaff. You have my attention. You fight for the people of Sherwood. If we're captured, that fight is lost and your will be turned upside down. Tell your duty means nothing to the sheriff. He'll take your hard-earned money and slap you in irons. We haven't got enough renown. Let us pass John and we shall trouble you no longer. Cross my arms and look John in the eye. Robin, Marion, Little John. What we start together will live on inspired generations. We will be legends. Believe that, don't you? John chews on a blade of grass. Maybe I've gone dark, but you've got me believing in it as well. Alright, cross you will. I'll be at your side until the end. We've got to recruit Little John, haven't we? You could tell Little John's tense and worried. You notice him glance anxiously upriver towards the ruins. Listen, he says. There's a shepherdess who often grazes her flock up by the ruins. We were supposed to meet for breakfast, but she's several hours late and I can't leave my post. If you find her, find out how she's doing, I'd be grateful. Thank you. Little John looks relieved. I worry about her, with no one but those goats around if something should happen. Little John, wasn't sure. He comes by now and again, but I've got to make amends of my own. Dream of living in the Deepwood. Right, let's cross the river. Let's get out of here before the sheriff's men arrive. Now, I don't have enough guests in the Deepwood other than Squire Will Scarlet, Warden of Sherwood, that is. Little John leads you across the bridge. Come along, I'll treat you to dinner. Little John leads you confidently into the gloom-shrouded Deepwood. The sun slowly sets in the world beyond. By day, the Deepwood can be black as night. It pauses by a small pool at the edge of a stone-grey cliff. It's only after sundown that the lights come out. Open up, you crane your neck backwards until the world spins around you. The trees of the Deepwood are transformed into pillars that hold the sky, and the sky is full of stars. We're the wisps, some say, or the souls of the dead, Little John shrugs. Proper fire will scare them off and leave you in the black. Now that you know the trick, you'll never need to fear the dark in here. Only the beasties that live in it. I've heard of the will-o'-the-wisps, Marion says. Tales vary, casting them as saviours or tormentors to those lost in the forest. Whatever their nature, they're said to be drawn to sadness and tragedy. But I did bring you here for a wisps light show. Cliff, you now realise, is no cliff, but an enormous tree whose trunk is over 50 feet wide. The old oak. Marion runs her hands across the bark. I've always heard stories. Am I supposed to climb this? Little John trips a hidden catch and the rope ladder tumbles down from above. Welcome to my home. Climb 100 feet up the old oak. Its branches as wide as a country road. Little John shows you a small collection of buildings connected by simple walkways. It's comfortable, hidden. Clearly only a fraction of what the great tree and those around it can support. You could house a village up here. Marion looks around awestruck. Aye, Little John sets out platters of bread, cheese and dried meat on a low table surrounded by cushions. Or an army. There's a huff and a grunt and a bear joins you on the branch. Little John tackles the bear and wrestles him onto his back, rubbing his tummy. Robin, I'd like you to meet Sir Bedivere, an old friend of mine. The bear yawns in your general direction, though he looks far more interested in your dinner. Is the bear a bit of meat? Sir Bedivere licks it up. He continues to lick your arm and then your face. Come here, Bedivere, no eating our guests. He hasn't eaten a guest in over 5 years, don't encourage him. Mist gathers between the trees, pooling in the hollows of their massive roots. Tendrils stretch and reach across the open ground to form a net of silken fog. I grew up with the forest. I struck up the conversation, used to climb trees every chance I had. I could tell. Little John levels an appraising stare over the table. You move like one born to the woods. It's in your blood. Why did you climb, Robin? Marion runs her hands across the oak's smooth bark. When I was a child, I'd do anything to get away from my governess. But I was always afraid of heights. She smiles. I still am. As high as I could, I pretended I was an eagle or a dragon with no responsibilities. I was a wandering friar, an honest man who was all but raised. So Tuck was his name. I developed the conversation. Let's go with the Tuck one. There are many friars, but I've only ever heard of one Tuck. He currently ministers to the poor and dispossessed in Nottingham, those displaced by the Crusades and Prince John's endless taxes. It was only by his warning I was able to escape when the sheriff seized my home. We should make contact with him as soon as we have the chance. Little John speaks around a mouthful of food. You could help us gather support against the sheriff. You settle down to a hearty meal, and the talk slows as you eat your fill. By the time you're sated, you realise you're sitting alone at the table. Rosalind's out at the edge of the light. I join her, catch up to John and Sir Bedivere. I look for Marion. Ooh. Let's look for Marion. A single large flower opens on a nearby vine, then another. Perfume fills the air, and a branch is transformed from spring to winter, covered length and breadth in snowy white blossoms. I was thinking, Marion's face is freckled with light from the wisps as she stares up into the tree. People need a hero if they're going to oppose the sheriff. Someone like St. George who will give them hope. The mist now blankets the forest floor, thick, impenetrable. It's as if you were sitting high above the clouds. Marion, what happened to your father? He was summoned to Nottingham to meet with the sheriff. When he wouldn't accede to the sheriff's demands to give away my hand in marriage, he was arrested. The sheriff came from my home soon after. The wisps gather close, hovering near her. We'll rescue your father, Marion. Really? Even when the people cry out for help? Even when the sheriff is in your grasp, you walk away and save my father then? I don't see why I'd have to choose. But you will, Robin. You'll always have to make choices. I'm not convinced my father will take precedence. Can't help the people if we don't save ourselves first. I know, I just wanted to remind myself about the common folk, their suffering. It's so easy to forget about them sometimes. Common folk marrying people deserve the same amount of respect, but they serve yeoman, noble, or king. I wasn't trying to be demeaning, I just don't know them very well. I didn't help, did it? Sorry, maybe we should move on. Would you lead us instead, Robin? There's no one here right now. We're just stuck with a tough job. We'll be here to support you through thick and thin. She steps over the branches, a trio of wisps trailing her steps. So pretty, aren't they? Rosalind stares to the fog, entranced by wisps floating just beyond her reach. Does it tickle if they touch you, or do you think they might burn? Burn, I imagine. Pretty things are usually dangerous. Oh, they most definitely are. Rosalind nods serious. I know the stories of the Grey Witch. The Deep Wood is no place for fools. Who's the Grey Witch? She's just a story, a lot of stories, actually. They're all different. There's a common thread through, though, be she woman or fey, cursed or blessed. I always like the version where she was the daughter of Lancelot and Guinevere. Regardless, every story agrees that the Grey Witch, the Wisps, and the Fog are in some ways linked, though it's debatable if she's mistress or servant. Also, she's always attended by a musician of uncommon skill, Alan Adale. Our good friend Alan. I don't think we should be flirting with Rosalind. Something about facing the fog with a friend. Doesn't seem as terrifying. Now come on, let's go join the others. Rosalind leaves the forest in the night and heads off to bed. That's what John's up to. An owl swoops overhead, banking soundlessly between the branches of the old oak. I have to say, Little John leans back against Sir Bedivere and crosses his arms behind his head. It is mighty grand to have guests for once. Does this place see a lot of use? Not so much. John is silent for the space of a deep, long breath. Time enough to take him a deep, long drink? Not ever, really. We have other friends, right? Like Squire Will. I wouldn't call him much of a friend. We have a different view of the world, he and I. You will be lord of the wood, but the deep wood has no lord. It is and always will be a free land. He looks away. There's to be this shepherdess. John scratched Bedivere under his chin. Alison's her name. When we first met, I thought maybe she was the one for me, but now... Wandered away into the forest. Bedivere's all I have left. John collapses against the bear. Don't worry, Bevy, I won't wander away. I won't need the call of the wisps, I promise you. I promise you that. I had a family too, till the sheriff came. Till the sheriff's downfall, John proclaims. May tonight mark the beginning of the middle of the end of him. May he suffer when the end finally comes. She wants me to move into a family's farm. She wants me to leave the Deepwood, and I... Deepwood is your home. There's no way I'll stop drinking, no way I'm shaving my beard. Wolf howls and is joined by another, and another still. Forest resounds with a primeval chorus that goes on and stops. Even surrounded by food and friends, you suddenly feel very, very alone. I'm off to bed. Good night, Robin. John and Sir Bedivere disappear among the boughs of the old oak. Your thoughts turn to the attack on your home. Sheriff's men slaughter your family, and there's the sheriff striding over the threshold through blood and flames. Find the Locksley child and bring him to me, he barks. Kill the rest. It could happen again. The sheriff's trained soldiers, the fire and the sword. It could happen again, and it would be your fault. Melancholy, you trace your way over the branches of the old oak to bed. You meet Marion by the base of the old oak the next morning. Let's get down to business, Robin. What's our next step? Does the order of our activities matter? Events are moving faster than I'd like. I can't tell you how. Time is a way of changing things. With the sheriff working to catch us, time is not always on our side. That's perhaps a more complicated way of saying yes, the order matters. Bandits. The Black Wolf Bandits are a large organized force known to operate out of the Deepwood. They're led by a notorious Viking marauder Harold the Grim, and are rumored to be in the pay of the sheriff. The questing knight, Sir Pellinor, promises assistance if we can help drive the bandits from the Deepwood. Sir Pellinor is working against the bandits in this area, and draws an X on the map. When we're ready for a fight, we should meet him there. Let's deal with those bandits there. Start off with your meeting with Sir Pellinor. A young boy in livery that Marin identifies as belonging to Will Scarlet stumbles across your path as you head to meet Sir Pellinor. Gasping for breath, at last! I've been looking for you all over. Someone, you must come quickly. What is it? I'm Peter, Will Scarlet's page. Sir Pellinor, lady, he's found the dragon. I paused to gather my weapons, followed Peter through the forest. Sure. Peter leads you to a clearing by the entrance to a large cave. Sir Pellinor, fit for that name, known as Swordbreaker, champion of the Battle of Tarabel and 40 winters young, sits against a tree, his hand pressed against his side. His horse and helmet are nowhere to be seen. His drooping moustache lifts with a smile as you approach. You're so good as to fetch my spectacles, would you? Gestures to a pair of glasses lying just out of reach. Sparkle blue eyes focus uncertainly in the middle distance. Here, Marion's fast. Though they are cracked and bent, she settles the glasses on the knight's nose. Peter, she addressed the page, run to the old oak and find our friends. Quick, now go. Well then, this is a bit of a pickle, isn't it? Kevin lifts up Pelinor's hand from his side. His hand and yours comes for a wave red with blood. Raggedy gash in the knight's armour and the padded clothing underneath and straight across his side. At least you got here when you did. Any later and the wound might have festered beyond help. Is that his rib? We need to help him. Oh, no, never mind me, Sir Pellinor grimaces. See to the old girl first. Lots of knights in this forest, only one dragon. He swallows and you see a tear trickling down his face. Can't be a proper knight without questing off after a dragon. There are no dragons. Wind's bad, Sir Pellinor isn't going to survive long without care. But I came as soon as that's his rib. Rosalind kneels at your side, her tone becoming brusque, clinical. You're going to need to make a poultice. Ideally, you need spring bonnet to regenerate the flesh, purple nightcap to dull the pain, slipper leaf to dry infection, mandrake root as a catalyst. Spring bonnet mushroom is necessary, but the purchase will be more effective with each additional ingredient. Fortunately, each of the ingredients grows naturally in the deep woods. Spring bonnet is common, others less so. She drags herself back to a cave. Unless I missed my guess, the old girl is better off than I. Sir Pellinor takes a rasping, burbling breath. As I am a knight, I swear I gave as good as I got. Bit of a misunderstanding, I wager. Terrible thing. Me and the dragon had a tiff last week, but none of us came out so bad I went back to my ho-hum, you know. A wet sound deep in his chest, looking for the questing beast. Up and comes old Amaranth, claiming I stole a hoard. We fought and well. Come on, Robin. Mary takes her hand. We've done all we can for Sir Pellinor right now. Let's see to the dragon. A cleft cut into the earth opens into a wide, winding cavern. Exposed crystals glow with an inner light. Their soft radiance beats the darkness. The dragon lies at the center of the chamber. Purple scales are dull. One of its wings lies limp. It fills the cavern with the slow sound of laboured breathing. Eyes black as well with purple flecks track your movement. There is no more treasure, human, the dragon speaks, its voice distinctly female. There is nothing. You're Amaranth, aren't you? Indeed, last dragon of Sherwood. A name is a powerful thing. Who are you, human? I would balance the truth between us. I tell the truth, I dissemble, I avoid the question. You tell the truth. Now we hold the balance of truth between us. What is this place? This cavern is my home and my grave. Curious oscillating sound echoes through the chamber. The human forever will haunt this place and curse all who come to steal my hoard. Sir Pellinor asked me to check your wounds. The knight cares for my well-being. I will not become any more dead for your inspection. Go to. Amaranth has a number of old scars and minor cuts across her body. She hisses dangerously when you approach her wing. It might be broken. But underneath is the real problem. A shattered lance is lodged in her chest. Blood leaks slowly from around the wound, sizzles when it hits the cavern floor. The lance needs to come out. Rosalind's there feeling around the wound. There's room for one very strong person to work by the dragon's side. We'll also need purple nightcap as a sedative, otherwise whoever works the land side is likely to get mauled. Lastly, we need lots of spring bonnets and much more strong regenerative properties. We have an extension to a series of smaller chambers that themselves branch into other passages. I suspect this cave is both larger and more complex than we can fully explore at the moment. Marion whispers, though if there are other exits, and I bet there are, this would make an excellent hideout. It's hidden, spacious, and highly defensible. After a brief search, you find a chamber with several gold coins scattered across the floor and another with a clutch of large, colourful dragon eggs. Come on. Hey, people outside. Well, Scarlet's men was to found our companions. Peter's horn echoes through the stone and a call for alarm. You and Marion hurry out of the cave. But John leans against a tree with Sir Bedivere at his side. Rosalind moves briskly around Sir Pellinore, doing her best to make him comfortable. Children and I will do what we can, Robin, but we're no fighters. A group of sturdy farmers with pitchforks and axes present themselves. Sir Pellinore was rounding us up to help. One of them frowns at the wounded knight. Ain't no good when he comes to running through the forest, but we'll hold the line, keep him from this clearing. Peter stands in the middle of the clearing. He's breathing hard, his horn in hand. Found them, Miss Marion, just as you asked. There's a pair of identical young women next to him, maybe 18 or 19 years old. I also brought my sisters, Ellie and Ellie. Eli and Ellie. They're good at watching people die. Eli slaps Peter upside the head and bobs a swift curtsy. We have the sight, Miss Marion. We'll make sure you know if your friends are in a bad way. Ellie curtsies. We help with herbs and such about with Scarlet's towel sometime. We know what to do when someone's hurt. Calm down, Peter. Deep breaths, then speak. Peter struggles for a minute while one of his sisters holds his shaking shoulders. Hear a long, low horn echoed by dozens of distant howls. The Black Wolf bandits, Peter says. They're coming. We've got to get out of here. No, Sir Pellinore will die if we try to move him, to say nothing of Amaranth. Anyone tell me more? Black Wolves have raided the border farms around Sherwood for years. No offense to you, Robin, but they're the most wanted outlaws in the forest. They later just Harold the Grim, huge black wolf as big as a horse, with teeth like daggers. Why are they coming here? Farms are far away. Coming for the Dragon's Cave, Little John says. They lost their main hideout recently, and the caves are a ready-made lair in the heart of Sherwood. It's to take an army to root them out if they settle here. Black Wolf, big as a horse, you remember her. Long before the sheriff's coming, she was what filled your nightmares. One year she took your favourite ram. Farmers were up in arms. Your uncle led them hunting and they returned with a dozen pelts. Next year the Black Wolf took your uncle and his family. They come for us all, Sir Pellinore rouses. Black Wolves care only for death and plunder. They claim the forest as their own. They've started competition. He looks to you, Marion. Knights who quest, dragons who dispute their territory, there is no room for us in their world. He sense our weakness. Each of us has a part to play in what comes, Marion says. What Robin asks of you, it won't all be easy or simple, but it will be necessary. Okay. Return your gaze, everyone trusting you to make the right decisions. Bring back his horn ready case for trouble. Twins will save the wounded, pretend I have the twins, Robin. Placement of your followers make a difference in the unfolding battle between the Black Wolves. You can view your current assignments in the help screen. Any suggestions on how to help Sir Pellinore and Amaranth? Okay. need Marinox. The more people we have looking for ingredients, the faster we'll find them. For the bonnets. If the bandits hard, we might get a crack at Harold the Grim. If the bandits gain, clearing out people in the woods won't be much help until they can drop back. Harold has to work to keep his people from running. He'll have less energy when we finally hunt him down. I'm gonna do it. Sure thing, Robin. Peter's fast on his feet. He'll keep you apprised of what's happening back here at the cave. Do you want anyone else going with you? Nope. You disappear into the deep wood, trusting your companions. To defend the cavern and heal the wounded. Trees wave in the breeze and dead leaves crunch soft beneath your feet. Breaking the silence, you hear voices ahead, high ahead. Bandits are in the trees. You and the Black Wolf bandits battle for possession of the Dragon's Cave and all of Sherwood Forest. Your attack strength represents your chances of driving the bandits from Sherwood Forest. Your defense strength represents the present moment. Okay. That one. First bandit falls without sound, but his friends notice his absence, though they don't see you. Follows a lengthy game of cat and mouse through the upper branches of the Deepwood. One by one, the bandits succumb to your hidden blade. By the time the last bandit falls, your dagger across his throat, you've ranged far from the clearing, well behind the enemy lines. Good. This one sounds red pack bandits are testing the clearing's defensive. Right. Let's keep going. The trees tower high through this section of the Deepwood. The lowest branches from their impossibly straight trunks start over 100 feet from the ground. Hello, N39. Yeah, Robin's doing his thing. Wandering along the open space between the red-tinged bark, you spot a group of 6 bandits walking along a horse-drawn wagon laden with casks. Are you sure it's not ale? One of the bandits complains. It looks like ale. Yes, I'm sure. Another bandit sighs. It's pitch. Why do we need so many barrels of pitch? Ale would be better. Already told you, the bandit slaps his friend upside the head. And for the dragon, in case she gets uppity. That pitch will wreak havoc. Your defense is you can't allow it to arrive at the clearing in the bandit's possession. With a judicious use of rubber goblet, tries to swing down the wagon, like the driver seen on the pitch. Light an arrow on fire, set the pitch aflame, and destroy the wagon and bandits both. Let's try that one. Takes off dumping the driver by the side of the path. And it's scramble over each other to pursue, but with some time if ever before they recover their cargo. Nice. A bandit attack has been repulsed. Yeah, it's boiling hot here as well. Ooh, it is rough. Okay, Peter's horn echoes through the forest. A bandit attack has been repulsed. Let's look for nightcap. Dark, wet hollows. Let's try that one. Small purple mushrooms in the fire-damaged hollow of an ancient tree. The opening is narrow and covered with thick white webbing. Mushrooms must be cultivated carefully or their spores will knock you out. Brush away the webbing. No, which says trigger goes there. Bitten by a spider. It's barricade bristling with sharp wooden spikes sticking out at all angles. It's beginning to look like a regular fortress. Peter peers over top waiter inside. Has anyone seen Marion? Spot Marion tending to some wounded man. Okay. Eli and Ellie are excellent as it is. Have time to tend our own injured. The wounds of any captured bandits. Good work. Not hot enough to fry egg on cement. Ooh. Need to open a window at some point. Okay. Slip leaf. Takes the basket of spring bonnets. Well then, let's say we're ready to pull the lance. You want to help, Robin? Must have the purple nightcaps. I'll be right there. Amarant's breathing is slow and heavy beneath the glimmering light of the cavern. Eli smears a piece of ground mushrooms around her wound and instructs you to grab the broken lance. The dragon shudders slightly, but the numbing agencies of the purple nightcap take effect. The lance slides out smoothly. Rosalind dives in with a large needle in a length of thick twine. In moments, the wound is sewed, closed, and packed with more mushroom paste. She leads you out of the cave. Never hoped this wasn't too late. Old burial grounds a little ways through the forest is known to have mandrake blossoms around this time of year. Just look for small violet flowers and broad heart-shaped leaves. Burial ground is easy enough, a low mound littered with clusters of mandrake flowers and ringed by a circle of rune-scribed standing stones capped with rectangular lintels. Bring this rabbit life for the life that this root will save. The druid is gone, the standing stones have no inscriptions. You sit among a field of violets. Much your magic root is hot in your hands, however, as you run back to the clearing. Once barricades collect a splinter smashed by some giant's hand. Peter appears at your sides. They really came close, pushing, especially with that ogre, but we pushed them back. An ogre? Oh god. Our healing plans are ready to move forward. Assemble the poultice. That was the dragon. Take out your skin, transforming each skin into a cut jewel. These bandits shall learn to fear me, she rumbles. Her wings snap open, fill the clearing, and blot out the sun. Black blast of air is not enough to knock you off your feet, and she spirals her into the sky. Okay. Oh, your basil plants wilted. Oh. Oh, that's sad. The forest is deceptively quiet as John leans against the wall of the cave, smoking his pipe. Some day, eh, Robin? Raises the bottle. It's afternoon on a Wednesday. Join me for a drink. Spedivere gnaws on a honeycomb at his feet. My head clear to face the bandits. Suit yourself. Little John shrugs and takes a swig. These woods are thick with bandits, Robin. We need people out there. Show them that they don't own the forest. John takes another long swig from his bottle. Not that I've had a chance to breathe, or we're the fighting right here. Swings his staff and catches an arrow in the wood. Right, back to work. Thanks for the update, John. Any time. John settles back against the cave walls, smoking quietly. Alright. The afternoon is wearing thin by the time you find the Black Wolf encampment. A number of tents and shelters are set up along the banks of a small stream cleverly positioned and disguised so as to be all but invisible until you are right on top of it, which you are. This is no slapdashing placement. The bandits have been here for some time, though at the moment the camp is nearly empty. Peter's horn sounds frantic through the forest. The clearing is under heavy attack. Rush back to the yeah, better help. Single figure steps to the edge of the clearing, just out of bowshot. Tall, gaunt, with a grey beard and a horned helmet, Harold the Grim eyes you through the dusk. Tendrils of mist rise around his feet, and will-o'-the-wisps flash to life in the high branches. A large black wolf stands at his side. The wolf howls, and suddenly the clearing is full of charging, screaming bandits. Okay. Find them in the caverns. You battle the bandits through the cavern, holding each room only long enough to move the wounded and non-combatants further into the maze of chambers. The narrow passages work against the bandits. You're able to hold the choke points with only a few men against their far greater numbers. The attack finally ebbs. Your men report that the bandits have settled around the entrance for now. Fortunately, Peter says we found a secret exit. The bandits gather their forces and strike back. Ooh, that does sound nice. Got all the herbs there. There's one more thing Peter talks to you about. They've captured Marion. I'm going after Marion, alone. The bandit camp is quiet, deserted. The mist seeps and pools. It does not rise in this area as it is through the rest of the deep wood, as such you can see clearly. There are no lights except a single torch illuminating Marion, tied to a stout post in the centre of the encampment. It is very nearly obviously a trap. Let's try it. You slip quietly through the tents, a bucket of slop douses the torch, and you have Marion down in a heartbeat. Robin, you came, she claps in your arms. It's a trap, but not for you. Peter's horn echoes in the night. The clearing is under attack. She's mostly right. Harold the Grim steps out of the gloom, fang at his side. I wanted the pleasure of killing you myself while your friends die at Black Wolf hands. He swings his axe in a circle and you see Fang approach from the other side. At last, I have everything I came for. The dragon eggs, made Marion. Your head is simply icing on the cake. Marion picks up a long knife and faces down the Black Wolf. Harold lets out a fearsome yell and brings his axe low around his body. It looks like he's going to try and cleave you from hip to shoulder, but his balance is all wrong. Harold changes his swing at the last moment as you suspect you catch his blade, and then again. He moves fast for a practice pattern. Best you can do is hold him off until he finishes. Muscles burn, you feel every ache in your body. This isn't going well. Harold spins his axe back and forth in front of his face, carefully balanced on the balls of his feet. Harold beats a sergeant with his axe and swings the pommel to your stomach. The bow flies out your hands and you're knocked to the ground. His axe buries itself in the dirt by your head. Come to your feet and face him once more, circling. Your limbs feel heavy. If only you had a moment to catch your breath. This isn't looking good. Stay away from Harold's swing and try to draw him out. His attacks look wild, but you realise every blow is tightly timed and controlled. Harold watches you as well and step backs at praising. The last exchange leaves you short of breath. Harold snickers, seeing he has the upper hand. Harold moves suddenly and you're on your back. The wind knocked from your chest. You stare at the sky and up to move as Harold his axe. Spins block an arrow, then another. A pair of your men stand on overlook, firing at a steady pace. It's only a delay, Robin. Harold flees the forest. Remember, I can beat you. Take refuge as wisps descend upon the dead. Marion finds you the next morning. For breakfast, she begins packing a picnic basket. You behold the forest. Black wolves withdrew in good order. After dark, worse, our scouts report the entire group on their way out of Sherwood in the direction of Nottingham. Sheriff already employs murderers and cutthroats, but now he has a hardened group with Deepwood experience. A group of bandits slip past our defences during fighting, I think. I can only guess that they've got what they came for, the dragon eggs. Amaranth is doing well, as is Sir Pellinor. They've recovered nicely from their injuries and would like to speak for you following breakfast. Herbs are rare. I'll arrange a good price for one. Once we're settled. Aaron looks to the forest. Peter and his sisters left early this morning, but they gave me directions. We should be able to make it to Will Scarlet's tower before dark, if that's our next destination. She stands and stretches. That's everything. I'm going to check on things around camp. Join me at the edge of the clearing when you're ready, will you? Forest shadows fall crisp through the morning air. Shiver, it seems, is not yet dead. Amaranth stretches the length of the clearing, soaking up the morning sun with her scales. Sir Pellinore sits on a rock by her head, companionably chatting away. Oh no, if it isn't the hero of the day, Sir Pellinore hails your arrival. Sir Robin of Locksley Farm, welcome and well met. Amaranth and I would like a word. His glasses have been mended somehow, and his horse stands hobbled only a short distance away. Indeed, we have made our peace this night and I, but each of us owes you a debt for the lives. Affirm nothing but what is freely given. Shield is my home. I join you with the pleasure. Join you with pleasure, Robin, together. We shall make the sheriff pay. Together we shall rescue my children. Sir Pellinore mounts his horse. I must away after Glatisant. God willing, I shall return ere the winter snows cover Sherwood in a blanket of white to aid your struggle or celebrate your victory. We shall meet again, Robin. Sir Pellinore gallops away into the forest, and Amaranth curls up for a nap. You return to camp to find Marion, who had further business that demanded your attention. There used to be days when you had time to yourself. The scent of loam, the shadows of the trees, and the crunch of leaves underfoot. You've always loved the forest. Marion assembles her papers as much as I'd like to take a bath or a nap, we have no time to rest. Okay. Okay, let's end it there for the day, I think. That's quite enough. But we will carry on with our Robin Hood journey some time in the future. Very soon indeed. It seems like that's going to be quite a long game, though, so we will have to see. Alright, let's go finish up.